Okay. Now, here's our problem. Several of our people that's supposed to be here today have bowed out on me.
Well, we can fill in. Hey.
So we're going to take care of some business. Why are these chairs up here? Okay. Now, first thing. Our first speaker is supposed to be Charlie, and he's not here yet. Our second speaker is Adrian. Our third speaker is Antoinette. Table topics is Philip. Don't see him. And we have table topics for speakers.
I do table topics. Go for it.
Wait. We'll see what happens in the next 2 minutes. Okay, I need somebody to be grammarian. You got a word today? Can you come up with one right now? Well, I don't need you yet. She's going to be Toastmaster. I'm trying to fill these things in. Okay. David Brudney is going to be our grammarian. Okay, now. I need somebody to be evaluator number 3.
General evaluator can do that.
Dave's already general evaluator. Okay. I need somebody to be R counter. I'll do that. I need somebody to be timer. Leonard, you can do that.
Okay.
Okay. This is what's going to happen. If Charlie shows up,
I'll evaluate him if that's okay.
well, but see, that's not the issue.
Okay.
Because his evaluator is Leonard.
But there's a timer, so I'm Antoinette has no time.
We can rearrange the evaluators. That's what we're going to do.
Okay.
Charlie, if he shows up.
If Charlie shows up, Antoinette will be his evaluator. So then, Leonard, you're going to evaluate. You're going to evaluate Antoinette.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm evaluating Adrian. Okay? Well, there he is. Okay, so okay. So evaluator 1 is going to be Antoinette instead of Leonard. And evaluator 3 will be Leonard. Okay. Now. Okay. Okay, put the all kind of bell back there on my desk. Now, let's go over this. So everybody knows what's going on. All right. Toastmaster is Jonna. Grammarian is David. Toastmaster minute is me. Table topics is Philip. Speaker 1, Charlie. Speaker 2, Adrian. Speaker 3, Antoinette. Evaluator 1, general evaluator, David. Evaluator 1, Antoinette. Evaluator 2, Joyce. Evaluator 3, Leonard. Grammarian, David. All counter, Joyce. What is that? Whose phone is going off?
I was wondering where my phone was.
Thomas.
Where did it go to? I hear it, but I don't see it. It's on the floor.
Oh, I
There it
got
is.
it.
Oh, I got it. Thank you.
All right. Where was I? Grammarian, David. All counter, Joyce. Thomas report, Leonard. General evaluator, David. Presiding officer is Joyce. Okay. All right. Now we're going to turn it over to our Toastmaster of the day. None other than Toastmaster Jonna Jacobs. Yeah.
Thank you, Joyce. Good afternoon and welcome to our HealthMasters meeting this Monday morning, April 3rd. April 3rd, 157 years ago, the Pony Express took its first ride along a 1,900-mile route from St. Joseph's, Missouri to Sacramento, California, and all points in between. This was a way to send mail, newspapers, and small packages by horse and rider across the country. Trip was about 9 days long, which was still weeks faster than the way they used to have to send packages by carriage, horse and carriage. Did you know that the Pony Express only lasted 18 months? I'll tell you what happened. Thank you for asking, Antoinette. The telegraph happened. Telegraph happened. Communication faster. All technological innovation has been motivated by that one idea, wanting communication faster. At Toastmasters, we strive to keep up and remain relevant in that area. We come here to learn and practice each week. So without further delay, I'd like to introduce David, our grammarian for the day, get our meeting started off with a new piece of information.
Thank you so much. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and wonderful guests. We have a great guest today. Let's give our guest a round of applause. Wonderful guest, Mandy Palmer with AFMC, and she was telling me that she might start a Toastmaster club at AFMC. Pretty cool, possibly, but we'll see. But only if we have a good meeting. We have to have a sparkling meeting today. Dr. McCoss looked up. The word of the day is something you may have heard of. It's laconic. Have you ever heard of the word laconic? Adrian's probably favorite word. Adrian's nodding his head. Do you know what laconic means, Adrian?
Brief and to the point.
Brief and to the point.
Did y'all hear about the attorneys? They do it best in their brief.
So, used in a sentence, you might say, the child gave a laconic answer to her mother, who asked the child, "How was school today?" And the child responded, "Great." Laconic, brief and to the point. I invite you to use today's word of the day. In fact, say it with me together, laconic. Use the word of the day. Madam Toastmaster. Laconic, L-A-C-O-N-I-C.
Thank you, David, for those laconic comments. I will be laconic in introducing our... Do we have a Toastmaster Minute person? Yes. Joyce. Joyce, please come and tell us our Toastmaster Minute. Joyce.
All right. Good afternoon again. My Toastmaster Minute is on table topics, which is coming up next. As you all know, table topics is supposed to be 1 to 2 minutes. We have a problem with that because some of us are speaking 30 seconds. If you were in competition, you would be disqualified. And that actually happened in our fall competition because two of our competitors was not speaking long enough. Okay, here are 8 tips for table topics. This is for the table topic person, master. Choose easy topics. Announce the time limit for the table topic. And determine how much time in the meeting you have for table topics. Call on members first before calling on any guests. Call up the table topics participants first and then state the topic. No, we ain't supposed to do that. I don't know why they said that, but that's in here. No, we don't do that. Call up guests without encouraging them to decline. Now, that's happened to me at a meeting when I was a guest, but you know, because I'm division director, they tend to do that to me. And give guests very easy topics. Because, you know, guests aren't, unless they are already since they're already Toastmasters, I guess it'd be already a guest. But, you know, we have a habit of these guests that come by here a lot, we tend to include them in our table topics, but you're not really supposed to put them on the spot like that. But anyhow, those are my 8 tips for table topics. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Joyce. Thank you, Joyce. That leads us right into our table topics. From Philip Borden, please come and tell us what we'll be speaking briefly, laconically about today.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I appreciate that encouragement from Joyce to make table topics easy and simple. Maybe that will happen next week, not today. It will not happen today. I think we can get some more lights on up here. Maybe that'll work. Well, over the weekend, I was driving around Little Rock and I happened by a blackened out sign of a movie ticket stub, which was a telltale sign that a Blockbuster video store had been in that building at one point. And I was thinking that is something that we will be telling our grandkids, that there was a time when there were video rental stores that you could walk in and you could pay money, not at a public library, not at any kind of place like that, just a rental store, people trying to make money, rent a video, keep it for a specified length of time, and take it back. Can you imagine being able to do that? You don't have to use Netflix or the internet. I thought of another thing that's a part of our past, public telephones that you can put money in. It's not a telephone that belongs to any one person. Anyone can come up and use it. You put money in it and you actually use it. They would even be housed in booths in public places. Can you imagine in our previous century that we actually had those things? Well, I want to hear what you think the next dead invention, dead part of our culture will be. 20 years from now, what is something that we have today as part of our culture that you could easily see being a part of history 20 years from now? Toastmaster Leonard Mikasa, tell us what the next dead invention will be.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Adrian. In 20 years, we are facing a jobless future. I believe all of us are employed today. This is true. For maybe 22 years, the projection is the robotics and the smartphones and other extended minds will take over our jobs, except public health. So we'll have to figure out how to live in this future without the so-called jobs. Grow, manufacture, move goods. But the health, automated diagnosis, the remaining thing is the public health. I strongly believe, short of that, public death I talked about is really possible. Because in this era of technology, we would be living in space without connecting with each other. That's worrying me, and the future public health may really be about a social mind rather than focusing on things like TV control. Toastmaster fit.
Good job.
Thank you, Leonard Macasa, for that answer. I was hoping you would just say we wouldn't have any rubber bands anymore. Your answer was a little more bleak than that. For the next question, I was also reminiscing over the weekend about the fact that I learned to drive using a stick shift. I learned to drive in my dad's old S10 pickup that had a manual transmission. I am not sure whether I would be able to drive a stick shift, manual shift today. I might be able to get it into first, second, third gear going downhill if I had to. I'm not sure I could handle a hillside. That's probably a skill that has been lost to me and to a lot of other people. I want to hear you tell us about a skill, an ability, something that we have the knowledge to do today, that most people have the knowledge to do today, that 20 years from now, people may forget how to do. It's a skill that we may lose. It may become obsolete and part of our past if we no longer have to use this skill. Dave Rudney, tell us about it.
Thank you so much for that wonderful question, Mr. Table Topic Master. The skill is face-to-face communication. It's a skill that we're practicing right now. Have you ever seen a teenager next to another teenager, next to each other, texting each other? And they're right next to each other. Our society is losing the ability for face-to-face communication. And if we don't use it, guess what? We lose it. Just like if I don't work out every day, and I didn't work out last week, but if you haven't worked out in a while, do you ever notice that your muscles get weaker? And I'll tell you that if I don't come to Toastmasters every week, guess what muscle gets weaker? My speaking muscles. Because if we don't use those muscles, they get weaker. And this is a skill that we'll lose. But we're so blessed to have wonderful clubs like Toastmasters that we can strengthen those muscles and that we'll never have to lose this gift of face-to-face communication, because I know there's telemedicine equipment, I know there's audiovisual equipment to connect with people, but guess what? Nothing will ever replace toe-to-toe, face-to-face communication. Nothing will ever do that. But it's important that we come together every week. Let's keep fighting for this Toastmasters opportunity to come together, to share stories, to make eye contact, and connect with other people so that we can leave people with information that can change their lives for the better. Mr. Topic Master.
Thank you. Great answer. For the sake of time, we will move on, but I do want to thank our two responders for being more laconic in your answers than I was in setting up those two questions. I hope those were challenging and interesting. Thank you, Dave, for telling us about something that may be the next thing to go the way of the Pony Express as we try to keep up and be relevant, especially in our communication. Here to help us do that for the remainder of our meeting, welcome back our topic table Toastmaster, Jonna Jacobs.
Thank you, Philip. I still drive a stick shift. A 2001 Honda Civic that I believe has 280,000 miles on it. I intend to be buried in that car. Might drive off a cliff and end up at the bottom of a dirt pile. We'll start the speakers portion of our meeting, and I'd like to hand that off to Charlie Simpson, who will be speaking out of the Competent Communication Manual. Speech title is Change We Can Believe In. I believe there will be visual aids. Toastmaster Charlie.
Thank you. In 2008, Barack Obama's former president campaign slogan was change we can believe in. As a clinician, I often get the question, can people actually change? And if so, why do we have so much negativity in the world? The egg has helped shape the way that I see change. What I'm going to do is demonstrate how you can see the egg differently. Now, everybody should have a picture of an egg. And what I want you to do real quick in the middle of that egg is to put something you would like to change. It could be manage anger, eat better, improve a relationship, whatever it is. Just put it in the center of that egg. What you would like to change. Real quick. Now, let me demonstrate and inspire you about change that you can believe in. Growing up, one of my favorite breakfast items was an egg sandwich. Not sandwich, but a sandwich. Now, that's an intentional grammatical error, so for the grammarian, don't ding me. But I used to wake up, get about 6 eggs, crack them, get the toast in the toaster, jelly, put it all together, and make me an egg sandwich. And then I grew up, went to college, and I said, you know what? I need some muscles. I wanted some abs so the girls can rub on. So I went to my nutritionist and I said, hey, I want to gain some muscles. I need you to help me. So he said, let me see your food journal. And I showed him my food journal, and he saw those 6 eggs. And he said, listen to this. The normal body should consume about 300 milligrams of cholesterol in an entire day. He said, you're taking in 1,300 milligrams of cholesterol in that one egg sandwich. He said, if you continue that, you don't have to worry about muscles. You'll have to plan a funeral. So immediately, what he told me was, you have to be aware. So what I want you to do is put number 1, and I want you to put aware. You got to be aware of your change. And so this is what he told me to do. He said, instead of doing the whole egg, you crack it. And he said, just get that egg yolk out of there. He said that egg yolk is where all the cholesterol and all the fat is. And if you can take that out and you can just eat the egg white, then you can continue eating your egg sandwich. So you have to be aware of your change. What do you need to do in order to start your change? So that's number 1. You have to be aware. Number 2, I want you to put action/reaction. Action/reaction. Let me explain. I'm working on my bod. I'm in college. I go home for the holidays, and I wake up and I commence to do what? Eat my egg sandwich. There you go. So I get up, I start doing what my nutritionist told me, cracking my eggs, getting my egg yolks, and my dad comes in. And he saw those egg yolks, and he said, hey, son, what are you going to do with those egg yolks? I said, I'm going to throw them away. They don't fit in my action plan. I'm working on my body. My dad looked at me. He said, those eggs cost money. You better eat those egg yolks. I told him I just can't do it, Dad. I can't do it. He turned his back. I threw the egg yolks in the trash. But anyway, you have to understand that when you start your action of change, people around you will not understand your actions. And so they'll continue to try to knock you off your actions, maybe not intentionally, but maybe unconsciously. And sometimes we call those people haters. I don't like to refer them as haters because oftentimes they're just doing what they're supposed to do. And that is just to try to get you to change. Somebody in here might have said, I'm going to work on anger. And you're going to promise that I'm not going to curse anybody out at work or at home. And you're going to start doing well after a couple of days. And then you're going to start repressing anger. And you're going to start repressing anger. And you're going to keep repressing anger until what happens? You're going to blow up. You're going to blow up. And so what you have to do is understand that even though I'm working on something, people around me are going to be reacting totally different. So it's up to me to make sure that I prepare myself for that action by reacting. Number 3, I want you to put evaluate and manage. Evaluate and manage. It was time for me to evaluate my muscle growth. I went, got on the scale, expecting to gain some weight. But then I stepped on that scale, looked down, and realized that I had lost weight. Got mad, went to my nutritionist. I said, hey, you told me if I eat the egg whites, take the fat out of my diet, I was going to gain muscle. That nutritionist looked at me and he said, no, Charlie, no. Y'all listen to this. This is what he told me. He said you became overconsumed with your change. Instead, you have to learn how to manage it. You have to learn how to manage the change. See, I went out and took out all the fat in my diet. I took out all the cholesterol. And he said you need fat in order for your muscles to grow. I didn't know that. So during my evaluation, I understood that I needed to go back and start to manage things a little bit differently moving forward. Now, somebody in here said, I'm going to work on my relationship. I'm going to communicate with my partner, and I'm going to listen. And you might go home, and you might start doing those things. You said, I promise I'm going to listen. And all of a sudden, they say something that you don't like. And you stop listening, and you go into defending yourself and criticizing and just making sure that I feel heard. And so what you have to learn how to do in certain situations is manage certain things. You must learn how to acquire certain skills like we have with our table topics in order to be able to move into a place of change. So what I want you to do is when you go home, I did say so, I want you to put that egg on your mirror, and each morning I want you to look at that egg and say, change I can believe in. Good luck. May the force be with you.
I eat a lot of eggs, too. Does anybody Twitter?
Uh-oh.
You tweet? I guess that's the verb, tweet. You know, they changed their logo, not the logo, but the profile pic. If you don't choose a profile pic, it used to just put an egg in there. And they changed it from an egg to a little person because they felt like the egg was allowing people to become internet trolls. Thought that was kind of interesting. Allows you to create an account and say nasty things to people without having to be identified. Just have a little egg up there. I thought that was interesting. Our next speaker is Adrian Duncan, speaking out of the Competent Communication Manual. His speech title is My Favorite Laugh. Adrian, please join us. Thank you.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, I want to hear you all laugh today for one reason. Does anyone have their cell phone on at the moment? Yes. Turn it off. Turn it off for 1 minute. Because I have a surprise for you. If you need it for an emergency, turn it back on. However, 1 minute, tell me what was the last word that you saw on your cell phone? Good. There you go. Power off. There you go. That's what we're looking at. Power off. Because I noticed that none of you noticed the outdated information that is called the 8-track. Anyone in this room use an 8-track?
I did.
You do?
I don't use it now.
8-track. Now, do you know what an 8-track is? What is an 8-track?
It's not a module.
It's not a module. What is an 8-track? It's a 8-track. Anybody heard of an open reel-to-reel?
Mm-hmm, I have.
You've used one?
No, I don't use one now.
Okay, okay. All right. Anyone, when you were little, 8, 10, 12 years old, young, did anyone not have aluminum foil in your house? Okay. Did anyone, when they were 10, 6 or 4, little, did they not have plastic bags in your house?
I grew up with no plastic bags.
Wow. Okay. Okay. All right, good.
Thank you.
I have something I want to share with you today because this is what my mother told me when I was little. She said, "There's a million things I've done for you." I said, "What? There aren't a million things in the world. There's only eat, play, and school." Is that right? Right on. I watched my mom, and the only thing I saw her do was work, work, and work. As I got older, I found out the only thing I saw her do was get older and more mature. The next thing I saw was the tears that she shed. And she shed at least 1 million tears to make sure that I was saved. I don't know why, because I was probably the quietest child that you've ever seen. Now, don't ask my wife, because she told me the same thing when I first met her. The next thing was, now that I became a Toastmaster, she said I'm the noisiest person she's ever met. That should have been funny, I guess. The next thing I noticed was her heart. And her heart was probably the only heart I've ever seen in this lifetime made of pure gold. Wow. She was an individual that no matter what, her heart in its entirety was in what she said and what she did and the work that she performed. I stopped and looked one afternoon, and I asked a friend of mine, "What color are my mother's eyes?" I went into shock. They said her eyes shines with love like the sunshine. I said, "Oh." I asked again, "What color are they?" Her eyes are brown. I said, "Oh, I must have been adopted." Why? Anybody know why? My eyes are blue. Do you know that I'm the only child she has that has blue hazel eyes? The rest of the children are brown. Interesting. I found something else that was unusual. When I found out what was happening in life, I found out at the age of 15. My mother was right. And for those of you that know mothers, they are always right and will always be right. Is that true? Yes. These are the words that I learned. You put them all together. Do you know what that word spells? M-O-T-H-E-R. Mother. Somebody said mother. She was always right. Put them all together, and it's a word that means the world to me. That's what Eddie Arnold said. If you've ever looked up on Google, Eddie Arnold said she was always right. She told us, always be honest what you do. Integrity is your number one priority.
5 minutes.
The foundation that you have, thank you, 5, the foundation that you have comes from integrity, responsibility, and service. I said to her, how is it that we have all of these wonderful things in life, and yet we seem to be short-circuited, especially with laconic statements? Her love, thank you, her love was merciful. I saw more in her heart, mind, and body of the mercy that she possesses than anything on this earth. No matter what we did, right or wrong, she always showed us mercy. And I believe that's what most of us need in Toastmasters today. mercy. Maybe forgiveness is exactly the same thing that is mercy to most of us. The next step in this was something that I found to be unusual. My mother passed away when I was 16, thereabout, and I found in my years of crying, there were no tears. I cried without tears. Men don't cry. Did you know that? Therefore, I tell you, I owe everything I own this day. My house, my car, my life, my wife, my job, my friends, my Toastmasters. I owe everything I own to my mother. I began to look to see how can I do that. I'm thinking, wow. As a little boy, 4, 5 years old, I remember breaking walnuts with a hammer at 4 years old, mashing my finger, and yet not crying because boys don't cry.
7 minutes.
I looked to see if there was something out of the ordinary. When I stopped to look and listen, I said to my friends, what do I do now? And they said, oh, I don't know. Oh, I said, I know. The sweet, tender mercies of my mother's heart always caressing me without limitation. And I noticed that was with her hands that she made our home. Not a house. Our house was probably 100, 150 years old. No paint on it, no paint on the inside, no paint on the outside. And I noticed that she always had completed everything with her hands at 2 a.m. or 4 a.m. before she took a 2-hour nap and was back up at 5 o'clock working again. And I said thank you for all the things that she had done in her lifetime, because she was only 54 years young when I passed away. She passed away. Sorry about that. I noticed 2 things about her life that you can carry with you as long as you're living. If you will do this, I believe your Toastmaster experience will be above and beyond anything you've seen or done. Number 1 is to be real, real, and real. The second part of that is to be regular, regular, and regular. When you miss one of these options, you will see the heart, mind, and body and soul of my mother. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Adrian. I have a 4.5-year-old son, and he cries all the time. And I always know when he's just trying to pull one over if there are no tears. And he's just making noise. I see those big tears, and I know that he's really upset. Our last speaker for today's meeting is Antoinette Mitchell, who's speaking out of a technical presentation manual. And her speech title is Let's Get Connected. Woo. Antoinette.
Here we go. Let's get connected. Well, thus far, we have talked about the Pony Express. We have talked about the telephone booth. We have talked about the mother's love. We've talked about the skills that may disappear face to face in the future. We've talked about jobs that may be gone away, dissipated in the next 20 years or so. I want to bring to you a topic, let's get connected. Madam Topic Masters, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests, let's talk about get connected. You may turn your phone on now. Let's get connected. Do you know, Toastmasters and guests, that Facebook has 1.1 million active accounts, people using them every single month? Facebook has been known to be the #1 social media that there is. It's what statistics have told me that I've read. Have you become a Facebook person on your smartphone? As you look at your smartphone, do you have a Facebook account? Do you have an app for Facebook? Yes or no? Raise your hand. Mine is right here on the top of my phone, easily accessible. Now, I noticed several things that are there. I have my own personal Facebook page, but if I click over to the right-hand side, guess what I can bring up? Arkansas HealthMasters Facebook page. How about that? How many of you all have got one of these things, one of these snazzy-dazzy smartphones that has a app on it? Or you can just go to your regular Facebook page and sign in. Let me give you 3 things that would be a benefit of a club, a Toastmasters Club Facebook page. One is that it builds relationships. We build relationships with each other. Not that we're being nosy now. Don't take it out of context. We are coming together as a club, looking at the events, looking at information that is helpful. As a Toastmaster with the HealthMasters, you can go out and post something interesting about change. I did a speech today about change. You can post that. You can also put a picture out there. You can also go live. I was just so wanting to go live with one of these speeches. Can I go on Facebook Live and let everybody see? I tried Facebook Live last week, and it was supposed to be for the person opposite of me, but it was about me. And I said, oh no, my hair is not combed. Stop, stop, stop. I love Facebook, playing with Facebook nowadays. A second benefit of a club Facebook would be to engage and influence others. How can we engage other people? Come in, be my friend. Let me tell you about my organization. We can engage people, influence them. A lot of people are looking for communication skills. Let them know that Toastmasters is the best place to be, especially HealthMasters. We can engage people by letting them know about the activities, the contests, the conference. I've got a picture out here of the conference that's taking place in Vicksburg, Mississippi. I also have a post out here that happened earlier this year that said, no Toastmasters meeting today, which was Monday. It was a holiday. Don't show up. I also have pictures of all of the contestants out here. Very good information to influence and engage people. Not too much now. You've got to learn to manage your time on Facebook. The last one is targeting the audiences. We just target our friends, perhaps. Hey, come on, take a look at us. Sharing is a part of targeting the audience. When you put in a certain word out there, I have found I've got people following me simply because they want to learn more about communications. Next, you would say, well, Antoinette, Toastmaster Antoinette, tell me what's on that page. I've told you a few things already. If you were to sign up today, if you were to go out on the page, it is at AR HealthMasters. That's what you would put in on the Facebook. You sign in, you've got to get an account, and then you put at Arkansas HealthMasters. What you would see is the current page that was just posted earlier. You will look at the cover page. The next thing is that you'll find that helpful information that has been posted. You will become a posteraholic. What can I post next? The biggest challenge in posting is making sure you've got everything spelled correctly. It's not that Toastmaster Leonard and Toastmaster Aaron were out understanding, but they were outstanding. So you have to watch your words that you're using. Go back and edit it. Also on the page, you will find public speaking tips, especially if you go out to, guess where I went today? I went out to Toastmasters International Facebook page, and I found out the word of the week. Absolutely love it, the word of the week. We can put all sorts of things like this on our HealthMasters Toastmasters page. The last thing I want to say is try it. You might like it. Would you like to like us on your Facebook page? Health Masters Club Facebook at AR Health Masters. So come on, everybody. Let's get connected. Do you have your smartphone out? You didn't bring your smartphone? You do have your smartphone out. All right, then. Go to Facebook page. Come on, everybody. I got 2 minutes to do this. Can you get it quickly? If you can, I might have a prize for you next time. You go out to the page, and then you like the page. You find something out there, and just like it. I am waiting for all of the Health Masters, Toastmasters, to like the Health Masters Facebook page. Can you help me do that? Yes. Yes, very good. I'm sure you will enjoy viewing the page, not being curious or nosy or spending too much time, but you'll be building relationships and you will be a better person. Maybe, yes, no, you'll have more information. You'll be an informational person. All right, signing off. Back to you, Toastmaster Jonna.
Sorry for my delay. I was liking the Arkansas Health Masters page. Thank you for that. I did not know that we had a Facebook page. That's great. I'd like to bring up our general evaluator who will introduce our evaluators for today, and that will be David Verundi.
Thank you so much for that fantastic introduction. Thank you for the wonderful applause. So great to have a wonderful guest here. Let's give our guest another round of applause. Mandy. So thrilled to have Mandy. She, I think, really has enjoyed this meeting today. Of course, she has to leave in a few minutes, so we won't be able to hear from her, but maybe she'll come back at some point. We'd love to have her talk to us more. But I think that it is now time to think about the quote from the great Norman Vincent Peale, who once said, "The trouble with so many of us is that we'd rather be ruined by praise than saved by criticism." And now is the opportunity to get some constructive criticism, which, in my opinion, is the most valuable part of Health Masters. And leading us in that effort, who will be representing our club in Vicksburg, Mississippi, because he won the division evaluation contest. Let's welcome Toastmaster Leonard Mukasa, who will be evaluating Charlie Simpson's speech, and there is his trophy. Look at this trophy. Let me hold this up. Wow.
Yes, sir.
There it is. Big trophy.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's pretty
The
impressive,
path
right?
to Vicksburg.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very
Congratulations.
much. Toastmaster Dave.
Actually, we switched it. Value 1 is actually Antoinette.
You can go ahead and do 3. That's fine.
Well, you can, but
Wow, it's like all the air went out of that balloon there, but that's all right. All right, so we'll switch it around here. So Dr. Mukasa will do the evaluation for Antoinette. Go ahead.
Thank you. Toastmaster Antoinette, this was a laconic speech.
Leonard, I need you to be at the podium because you're not holding the mic.
You took 8 minutes out of 12 minutes allowed. Your topic is quite timely to me. Do I have some guilt as well? How many of us have visited Arkansas Health Masters website in the last month? I'm not pointing fingers to anybody. I have not. You've made the case that I should get up and act. Call to action. There's no reason why I can't save that time if I can come to Health Masters every week. Started off with the questions, probed us with several questions. I would have enjoyed it if we were able to project your Facebook, but I don't technically, I don't know whether that's feasible. And you went to build a case, a strong case, why it is we should be on Facebook, the ups, the downs of it, you pointed out very well. I believe we are going to act. That's what I got from your speech. Maybe regular reminders about our Facebook, our connection, our future. Otherwise, HealthMasters will go into that relegated to history. Thank you very much for that speech.
Thank you, Dr. McCosta. It's good that you stood around there, actually, when you did the contest. I probably was guilty of telling Dr. McCosta to stand in front because I think it's better when you're at a contest to get rid of barriers between you and the audience, so I think he was practicing. As we know, the aim of all speaking is action, and I think that Toastmaster Antoinette did an outstanding job. And now to move on to our next evaluation, the evaluator for Distinguished Toastmaster Duncan's speech will be Toastmaster Antoinette Mitchell. They switched that too.
We're doing our own flow.
Wow, we're doing our own flow today. This is like a table topic session here. We're making things up as we go.
All right, we're just so anxious to do this. Woo-hoo. All right, our speaker today, Charlie Simpson. As usual, great voice volume. Don't you think so? One that would be very well on TV, I would reckon. All right, the title is Change We Can Believe In. And the topic was very appropriate, and the humor that you put with the topic, so that it kept our attention. We were laughing, we were enjoying what you said. We were also evaluating, well, how can I do this? How can I eat an egg without the yolk? Oh my goodness. But I do want the pecks now. You did a fabulous job with the voice volume, with your content, with the opening. I believe you gave us enough information to start wanting to listen more. What is this about? The meat of it was actually your visual aids that you had here. And then you closed it out with a challenge for us. You gave us the tips. They were very good. What would I want to be added to that speech? Should I hear it again? That you would use voice volume with your characters. I went to my nutritionist, and she said, or he said, oh, well, don't you know? You may want to also use that same volume, voice volume with your father. What are you talking about, son? All that money I spent? Another suggestion is to set up earlier, if it is possible. I understand, but that would make it better for you. The information was relevant to all of the audience. The examples for change in each point was given. Not only did you say change this, change that, you also gave us examples of how to change. You kept the audience laughing, and we will remember the egg forever. Put it in the mirror. Good job. Look forward to many more speeches. Good job.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mitchell. I don't know why, but for some reason, I just want to have scrambled eggs right now. I don't know what it is. Outstanding job, outstanding. And let's give our guest one more round of applause because she needs to leave a little bit early, but she stuck around.
I enjoyed it. So
Will you come back?
I plan to come back.
All right. Thank you so much. But we still have more program to go here. Wow, we've got more time, 5 more minutes. We've got to have a condensed meeting. Why don't we do a quick evaluation, lightning round evaluation for our last evaluation, which will be to evaluate Distinguished Toastmaster Adrian Duncan. Let's welcome Distinguished Toastmaster Joyce Biddle.
All right, Adrian. Adrian's speech was a persuade with power speech. His purpose was to persuade us on something. So you were, ding me somebody, speaker was, you were sincere and you spoke with conviction, on what you were talking about in reference to your mother. You also gave us examples of how to change. You kept the audience laughing, and we will remember the egg forever. Good job. Look forward to many more speeches. Good job.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mitchell. I don't know why, but for some reason, I just want to have scrambled eggs right now. I something, I don't know what it is. Outstanding job, outstanding. And let's give our guest one more round of applause because she needs to leave a little bit early, but she stuck around.
You did have an appeal for self-interest in mothers, and your opening was very captivating because you told us all to turn our cell phones off, which I didn't do because I was using the cell phone to capture Oz and all that good stuff. You did use a lot of facts, and they were logical and reasoning, and it was obvious that you showed a lot of emotion for your mother. The speech was well organized, which I always look for that, because sometimes our speeches aren't organized. You were very persuasive and to accept your point of view. The only thing that I would say was I would like to have seen more vocal variety, which is very different for you because most of your speeches do have a lot of vocal variety, but I guess for this speech, because you showed a lot of emotion for your mother, your speech was more calm than you usually are. And you didn't have a lot of vocal variety in the speech. But I did like the subject matter, and you showed a lot of emotion for your mother, and it was a great speech.
Thank you, Joyce. Excellent. Yes, I thought the vocal variety was very powerful, the way that you went to a different tone that you normally are, Adrian, and I really commend you for that. And with 3 minutes left, let's see, what do we have time for? Maybe a very brief 10-second grammarian report. I don't have time other than to say Adrian used laconic, the only one that used the word. A few memorable phrases that I enjoyed. I liked when Charlie said egg sandwich, or not sure how we spell that, but that was very memorable. Sandwich, all right. Whatever it was memorable. And I didn't eat lunch today, so I'm hungry for that sandwich. And also, I liked how he ended with good luck and may the force be with you. I commend him for that. Adrian, mother's always right. I remember I used to tell my grandmother, Grandma, you're right. You're absolutely right. You're always right. And she always loved that. When my grandmother argued with my mom about who's going to pay the bill, my grandma got the biggest kick out of that. God bless my grandma. And I thought that Adrian had a powerful statement saying, I cried without tears. I don't think I've heard that before, but I thought that was very powerful. And then Antoinette had some alliteration with word of the week, word of the week, word of the week. The W's connect. Very powerful. That concludes the grammarian report. We have an Akana report. I think the Akana report, we heard the bell run off, so it kind of spoke for itself. And what about the timer report? Do we have a quick timer report in terms of how long the speeches went? Very quickly.
Yes, Toastmaster Antoinette had about 2 minutes to spare. And Toastmaster, distinguished Toastmaster Adrian ran over time on purpose. Yes, maybe it was not given to him. Otherwise, we did well.
All right, thank you, Dr. Mikasa. Do we have another session here? Let's turn control back to our illustrious leader, distinguished Toastmaster and presiding officer, Joyce Biddle.
Okay, I just have one quick announcement. For those of you who have not paid your dues, I do want to tell you, and because of the new rules in Toastmasters, if you have not paid your dues as of April 1, you are no longer a member of Toastmasters. You're not on the roll anymore. And I went out there and looked. There's only 13 members in HealthMasters as of today. So the rest of you need to get your memberships in. Now, I'm not talking to the new members because y'all are not in there yet. But the rest of y'all, if y'all have not paid your membership, because everybody that gave me their money, I paid you all last week. And that's only 13 people. So everybody else, you're not in Toastmasters as of Saturday. Okay. Now, if you want to be back in there, and let me tell you something. That makes a difference when Toastmasters is looking at your continuity as a Toastmaster. When they look at that and say you have been a member since, that's a break in membership. It is. It's a break in membership. So that's why I made sure I paid all mine.
Also, Joyce, and
If you paid your membership in the other club,
I'm still considered old.
you still considered,
Yeah, right now I'm lapsed today, I'm gonna pay it today.
okay, all right. Well, okay, I get you. I got the thing over there. We're gonna take care of you today, David. Okay, all right. The only other thing is to remind everybody that Leonard is going to Vicksburg, Mississippi, April 28th to represent the club and the division for the evaluation contest. From this point until then, Leonard will be doing evaluations every week. So we can get him ready. And I also want you all to give him any comments, whatever you all think about how he's evaluating so we can get him ready. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and he's welcoming any comments that you all have, because we talked about this Saturday. Okay, and you do have to watch the clock. If you're over 3 minutes 30 seconds, you are disqualified.
We had 2 disqualifications.
All right, now.
I will contest that.
All right, that's all I have. Meeting adjourned.